Okay, Julie and I have worn a lot of hats in our
That's true.
career, and I like that variety, actually.
We know you do. You've mentioned that before, and that's a good thing.
Hey, thank goodness.
But no hat heads, so none of it has really stuck and been a bad thing. This guy you're about to meet wears several hats as well, and you'll be interested to see which ones they are.
Yeah, he's sometimes he's practicing law, and sometimes he's just practicing out on the field.
He's a coach. Check this out.
Scout B, first down, down here. First D down there. Woo! Will be good. Hey, George, relax and kick it, baby. You're fine. They try to play you man on the inside. It's going to be wide open. Hey, coming back. Come on back.
The locker room, of course, is part of who you are and what you were back at DePaul University. Can you give us a little bit of background about your career at DePaul and maybe some of the coaches that you had that influenced your life and decision making there?
Yes, well, football has always been a huge part of my life. I mean, I go back even further to St. Mary of the Lake and CYO football for us. It was just as big up there as it is here, and always had a love for the game. Then went to Andran, very similar to Chittard, and throughout college I was blessed with great coaches. And my last coach, Nick Morozis, is pretty famous around the country and a great man and was a huge influence. And as I graduated, I knew I was going to law school, but I had the bug. I wanted to coach and actually thought about doing a graduate assistant. And I thought, you know, let's just get the law school thing done first. And so I did that, and I still wanted to coach. And I was just fortunate enough to work with a guy who was coaching CYO and said, hey, would you like to come coach CYO? I'm like, sure, let's go. And that first year I did it, and then it just grew from there. Just every year try to expand a little more.
And how long did you coach in the CYO?
I coached CYO for 12 years. Coached at St. Pius for 12 years. I was the coordinator for 4 or 5 and the cadet coach for 6 years. But as you know, even while I was coaching CYO, I was working with Chittard quarterbacks and other quarterbacks around just to kind of help them get ready for high school, sort of polish up their skills. So I was doing that along the way, which was always fun.
So you coached in grade school, then I know you spent, how many years as our freshman coach at Bishop Chittard?
I believe it was 12 years.
Okay, so 12 years, that's quite the time. So 24 years of not coaching on the big stage, but in CYO and then the freshman coach. And then all of a sudden you sit here 2 years ago and the opportunity presents itself to take over one of the most storied football programs in Indiana high school football. I would love to know, how did you make that decision? What question did you ask yourself to help push you to that? And for our Boomer watchers who might be in transition, who might be facing a big decision like you faced, what advice would you give them when it comes to saying, you know what, I'm going to take the leap and do something I've always wanted to do?
Well, those are big questions, and anytime you make decisions like that are really impactful, not only on my life, but my wife, my family, everybody, you need to reflect on those things for a long period of time. But you also, in your life, you know, as you get older, you start feeling a call of here's where I need to be, here's where I need to go. And as I kept coaching, I almost retired a few times. Like, you know, I've got a whole other life that's very busy, and I shouldn't be doing this, but every time that would happen or creep into my mind, there would be something happen at school or with the kids or our experiences that told me I need to be here. And as we moved forward, eventually when Vince retired, that call just kept getting stronger and stronger. And I have some good friends that you know, they're football people, and they all said the same thing. This is your one chance. I actually spoke with Bill Somm at school and Tyler Mayer, and just to get their ideas and thoughts as whether this is something I should really even put my hat into, because I wasn't teaching in the building. That's a big step for them. I think it's a big risk that they took to hire me. As you say, Chittard has a grand and proud tradition, and you're turning that over to somebody who's never been a high school head coach. So there we are, and all of a sudden it happened, and I can say I wasn't overwhelmed the first year, and it wasn't always easy. It was always fun, but sometimes you just have to take a leap off the cliff and take the dive and see what happens.
Sure.
Let the wind blow you, and if you don't, you're never going to know.
Right. The great Les Brown always said, jump and grow your wings on the way down.
That's exactly right.
When it comes to experience, you're the only person I've seen. I Googled it. Has there ever been an attorney that became a head coach? None. You're kind of an outlier in that sense. What lessons can you take from the courtroom to the locker room that you've been able to instill in your kids and your teams?
Well, there's a big carryover there. First of all, in both jobs we teach, and my job here in this law firm is to provide really teaching to our clients, to give them good advice, to say here's where you need to be, here's where you don't want to be, and get them in the right position to be successful. It's the same in coaching football. It's really teaching is all it is. And my experience as a lawyer, you know, the thing that helped me the most is there were times when I was a young lawyer and got thrown into some really big cases. It's just a matter of just stepping in and handling everything with confidence. Whether you're 100% certain or not, you're going to project confidence. We're going to get this done. And if we don't get everything right, we'll get it fixed. And you just have to go in and just start it, just do something. And that kind of experience, it's the same thing with coaching. I've been around football since I was in 3rd grade. That's all my buddies. My brother coached at Andrana State Championship. One of my best buddies was the defensive coordinator there. It's like, you know football just as well as anybody else. Just go do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, are you going to make mistakes? You are. But if you don't, you're going to sit back and say, hey, why didn't I do that? Why didn't I get that done? Which most of the times people sitting around to do these things, they can. It's there. You just have to do it.
Yeah, that's fantastic advice, not only for your kids, but for our viewers here at Boomer TV. So, Rob, I want to thank you for your time. This is Glenn Bill with Boomer TV.